I have never gotten more compliments about a golf bag than the one I'm going to tell you about today. I'm Ryan Balanchi. Thanks for checking us out. Once again, appreciate you watching. We don't do too many bag reviews, but we actually have a couple in line for you. And the first in the lineup is an incredible bag from Vessel. Recently, I was contacted by the brand and they asked me if I wanted to try one of the bags. And so I went to their website, went and checked out what they had on offer. And I realized that the bags that they're offering, while pricier and more premium priced than maybe your average stand bag, are not that out of reach compared to some leather bags in the marketplace that are in the $500, $600, $700 or more range. It's kind of firmly placed at a premium price point, but with a premium product. And so I chose the VLX bag. And they shipped it to me. I picked it in white, which was a bold move cotton, but I'm really happy with this bag. It came quickly, which was obviously great, first of all, but the features of this bag and the way people look at the bag and just the conveniences of this bag make it one of my all-time favorites. Now, first, let's start with the price. It is $335. If you look at a good kind of traditional style looking stand bag, which you expect these days, you're probably looking at $180 to $200, maybe $225. So you are paying more money. There's no doubt about that. However, for the aesthetic, for the conveniences, for the quality, and what you're expecting to last for years, not just a couple of years worth of serviceable use, then I think this is a worthwhile investment. So the VLX is a 4.65 pound bag. It has a 7-inch opening on the top. Some of you might like a bigger opening. Some of you might like a bigger bag. I have had bigger bags in the past. I went with the VLX in part because it kind of reminds me of one of my high school golf bags I used to get every year for the high school golf team. It was a little bit smaller. It was a saddle style bag and it had a smaller opening, but it was easier to carry and it just wasn't as kind of obnoxious to get around and keep on your back. And at 4.65 pounds, it's not super ultra light by any stretch. That's not what it's designed to be, but because it's smaller, it could be a little bit lighter. So the saddle bag has two main big pockets on the left and the right. So it goes about halfway, a third to halfway of the bag on both sides. The bag's about 34 inches, 35 inches long. So there's two pockets. There's one on each side, and they're relatively long. They're not lined. There's nothing particularly unique about them. They're good depth. They hold, if you want to hold a whole dozen golf balls in them, it'll hold that just fine. If you want to hold a drink or a speaker or something like that in them, it'll hold that just fine. It'll hold your gloves, obviously, but it also doesn't have any wasted space to it. So you're not putting in one of those full-length bag pockets, up and down the right side where you can only fit so much stuff in it because it really just sinks to the bottom and it's kind of wasted space and it's wasted weight. It just kind of is useless or not nearly as useful as it could be. So with this, you don't have that with that saddle style bag. You get exactly what you need in terms of storage and nothing else that you don't. But the real storage, the real genius of the storage really comes on the saddle portion. So the first big thing that stands out to you is the magnetic velour-lined bag that's really meant to be, at least from Vessel's perspective, for your rangefinder. I actually don't use it for that. I use it for my glove, for my divot repair tool, for a couple golf balls, all the stuff that I'm going to reach for all of the time when I play. Tees, stuff like that I know I'm going to use every single time I play. And the reason why I use it for that is because it's just so simple to pull it with a little bit of, the cloth hanger. You pull it and it opens up right away. You get out what you need. You let it close itself because it's magnetic and you move on with your day. There's no zipping, getting out, re-zipping. It makes it so much more convenient. And I know it's maybe just a couple of seconds worth of your time, but it is so worth it. It makes things move faster. It makes things go quicker. Also, for a small bag or smallish bag, the ball pocket is pretty deep. It's going to hold probably 20 balls, 30 balls if you really stuffed it to the gills. But it's deep enough and expands enough that it does the job for pretty much any golfer. What's also really cool about that front pocket and also the side pockets is they can be customized. So you can order from Vessel a custom front panel for that bag. And it's really easy to put in and remove the original. So It's a custom order. They sent me a GNN patch a couple of weeks after I got the bag initially. And what you do is there's a Velcro portion underneath the panel that you don't really see when you're looking at the bag. And the zipper for the entire ball pocket, you can take it all off. So you take off the front panel and then you re-zipper on the new one and you put the Velcro in and it looks like it's been there all along. So it's really easy to change out. So if you want a new one, if you want to change it, if it gets dirty, whatever you got to do, you can take it on and off really easily and it just looks sharp. This is, you might think this is natural leather. It is synthetic leather. That's for good reason. It needs to be cleaned every now and then, especially if you're making the bold choice to go with white. It is easy to clean. Really, the times I've had to clean it, it's either a spit shine or just a little bit of soap and warm water will take care of it. You can apply chemical type wipes to it if you choose, but I don't think that you have to do that. I certainly haven't had to this point with it. It feels like leather. It feels comfortable. It looks really good. It just pops. Like I said at the start of the review, I've never had more people come up to me and ask me about my golf bag before. And I've had some really cool golf bags over the years, but this one has drawn so much attention and people are genuinely interested in it. And it's because of its construction and that synthetic leather that pops. It's basically marine leather because it's waterproof. It's not going to degrade over time. It is built to handle the conditions of golf while still looking great. And then there are kind of the other features that maybe you don't think about, but really complete this bag. And it starts with the stand. So the stand is unique. It is kind of the Vessel's thing. So the base of the stand actually stays stationary when you put it down to the ground. But what flexes is kind of a capsule over the top of it. So it's almost like a hinge of sorts that allows the bag to move comfortably from upright to less upright to its natural position sitting on the stand. The stand is excellent. The one thing that I've always looked for in a stand, and I haven't gotten in the last couple of bags I've had, is one that's really taut. Like it's really not difficult to get to unfurl, but when you unfurl it, it just doesn't fling out there all over the place like, a 1930s cartoon with wavy hands. That it comes out, it sticks, and it stays. It doesn't slip, it doesn't slide. And the really important thing for that for me is because I keep my golf bag in the house a lot, and we have hardwood floors. So with my last bag, the stand wasn't as sturdy. The grips, the feet on the bottom weren't as sturdy of a part. So you would put it down on the hardwood, and it would just kind of creep out and then fall over all of a sudden. It doesn't happen with this. So I can put it on wood, I can put it on hardwood, I can put it on carpet, wherever I need to put it, I can leave it there, and I know it's not going to fall over. From a storage perspective, we talked earlier about being a 7-inch opening, and there's a 4-way divider. So that's ample enough for most people. Some people like full-length dividers for every club. I could take or leave that. I think it adds weight. If you play in a cart a lot, absolutely makes sense. If you walk most of the time, I don't know that it's the right choice. But it does store everything how you need it. Every once in a while, I kind of have to jam a club in. I mean, that's just the nature of it, especially because sometimes I can kind of lose the place of how I have everything stored. But typically, when I'm thinking about my 14 clubs, you're trying to have 4 sections, right? You have 2 smaller sections. So maybe you're looking at 3 clubs, 4 clubs at the top, driver, fairway wood, hybrid, and putter. That's usually what I put there. The bottom section, then I usually put all of my wedges, pitching wedge and 9-iron, then 8-7-6, 5-4-3 in the middle. And it does the job. I mean, it does exactly what you need it to do. It's pretty easy to get everything in and out for a 7-inch opening. You may want to look to a larger one if you don't really feel comfortable with that size opening. Maybe get a 9-inch opening. That's in the Vessel family as well. And then also a really couple other cool touches that, again, maybe you don't think about, but do make the bag. First, the handle. The handle to pull it and push it around or take it around if you get it out of your car, from out of your house or whatever. It's just nicely padded. It feels good. It feels luxurious in your hands, like you are using a $335 bag. The openings, the 4 openings, they have mesh on top of them. There's no rivets, there's nothing, there's no snaps or visible screws, nothing holding it together. that's visible, so it's less likely to damage your clubs. Sometimes that happens with certain bags. That's kind of annoying. You shouldn't have to deal with that at this price point. Also, the handle, where if you're just not the handle where you grip it on the body, but if you're trying to grip it from the top, the divider, that also has a good luxurious feel to it. Again, grab it by two hands, get it out of your car. It feels good, doesn't feel cheap. It feels like a high quality bag. It also has an expandable drink holder. So it's actually attached on, if you're looking down at the bag, the left side of the bag, down near the ball pocket, and it just kind of expands out. It doesn't necessarily hold like a Yeti. It's not going to really do that very well. But if you have a soda or a beer can or a smallish water bottle, then it's going to sit in there pretty comfortably. If you have a bigger water bottle, like I carry around one of those big Tervis tumblers, it's like 32 inches. It's not going to hold that very well. I just put that in the side pocket. It does what it needs to do. Overall, this is a fabulous bag. It really is incredible. You have a couple of options too in terms of not only customization, but also your strap. So they sent me a single strap. It is wide, padded, feels great. I haven't had a single strap bag in probably 20 years, something like that. Ever since the advent of the double strap, I've been a double strap guy. But they sent me a single strap. I tried it out. It's not a big transition back to it, but I am going to go with the double strap. They're going to send that, and I'm going to go with that moving forward. Again, same luxurious feel, great padding, feels good on the shoulders, plenty wide, it doesn't dig into my shoulders, which sometimes happens with bags. I just think that's my preference, is to kind of balance out the weight instead of kind of hold it like this, and it feels kind of awkward. And even with the single strap, I still have the propensity to kind of put my arm behind the bag and hold it like that anyway, so I might as well have the two straps. But this is a great bag. It's available 4 colors right now. Black, white. It's kind of like a mix of colors of like an orange, white, and some black accents, and then a forest green. So those colors are probably always changing with different years and different releases, but this bag is money, man. I mean, it's just, it looks really good. It feels really good. It's the right amount of weight. It's the right amount of storage. There are other options from Vessel that will give you more storage, bigger pockets, bigger opening size, bigger opening diameter. You can get ones with full-length dividers. You can get ones with cart bags. But for me, this does exactly what I needed to do when I play most of my golf. And if I decide to ride, they actually include this really cool like sleeve for the cart strap, so the cart strap doesn't like mess up the bag and you see like an obvious line, so you can put the sleeve on it if you feel that way about it, and then you strap it into the cart and it won't mess up the bag at all. It'll keep looking great. I've played with this thing probably 15-20 times now. It looks just as good as the day I got it out of the box. If I have to wipe it down, it's easy to wipe down and take care of, and it's a bag I can have for a long time. It has all of the conveniences that I need as a walking golfer. It sheds the stuff that I don't need, and it looks tremendous. So if you're that kind of golfer, if you spend most of your time playing golf walking, you want to invest in a really gorgeous golf bag that's going to make you proud to put it on your shoulder every time that you play. It doesn't feel utilitarian. Not that it's a fashion statement, but it's about making yourself feel good when you play golf and when you look at what you get your clubs out of. And those little conveniences that you might be willing to pay a couple extra bucks here and there for, and they add up to be a great golf bag. Then look at Vessel, look at the VLX, look at the options that you have even beyond that if you are a cart golfer or you prefer more storage. You will find something in the 300s, mid 300s range that's going to work for you. It's not going to be such a throwback and so focused on leather that's going to cost you a ton, and it's also not going to look quite like a modern stand bag in terms of materials, and it won't feel like just another golf bag. You're going to stand out in the crowd. So if that matters to you, this Vessel bag is awesome. Highly recommend it. Highly recommend looking at them if you're considering making an investment worth that kind of money. I'm Ryan Balaji saying thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.